following program is intended for mature audiences.
You're listening to Basically a Sports Show.
Follow us on Twitter at Basically Sports.
Subscribe to our podcast on iTunes.
And download every episode and more at basicallyasportshow.com.
Now here's your hosts, Zach,
Greg,
Mike.
And you're listening to Basically a Sports Show.
If you have United in the name, you don't get to use FC. Like, FC is fine, but not if you're United. Like, United is something else entirely. I'm curious, Zach, when it comes to MLS, will you be jumping on the LAFC bandwagon?
Maybe. I've thought about it. I mean, I have it in my signature on the boards. Because I've tried, like, the Galaxy just have never appealed to me. Mm-hmm. And I know they're winners and they've had stars, and Landon Donovan, the best U.S. player, and as an person of Irish heritage, I love that they have Robbie Keane, best Irish player. They're going to get Steven Gerrard from Liverpool this summer. But I don't know. They've always seemed like, especially since they're one of the original MLS teams owned by AEG, and AEG, owned like 6 of the 10 teams in the inaugural MLS. Yeah. They've seemed overly bland and corporate to me. I've obviously come on to the soccer thing late, and MLS super late, because MLS just never appealed to me because it was never all that good. It's still not great, but I'm working my way into it. Like, I watch the occasional MLS team here and there.
Well, let me ask speaking while we're talking about MLS really quick, you're comparing it, obviously it's not as good as the I don't know what you call it, the Premier League, I guess.
The European Premier Leagues.
Well, say if you go to a AAA baseball game, you really can't see a huge difference between that and a major league game. Is it really obvious in soccer?
Yeah.
Is it?
Oh yeah. Yeah, if you watch Premier League soccer on in the morning, and then you try to watch MLS in the afternoon.
Yeah.
The European game is so much crisper, and the ball control is off the charts better. There's a thing in soccer that it's described as the first touch, which is basically when a hard pass comes at you. How are you able to control that ball? Does it bounce off your foot? Are you able to control it and get a good solid kick on it? Or do you have to settle it down and stop? And in Europe, all that's fluid. It's foot to foot to foot. It's like when you're watching a hockey game, and you can tell when it's a sloppy game and pucks are bouncing off people's sticks and you just can't get anything going. And then there's a different game. It's just crisp, tape to tape, and it's beautiful to watch. That's the difference in MLS compared to Europe. MLS is sloppy.
So it's kind of like
it's kind of a grindy soccer.
So it's basically like, say, if you watch Toledo versus Western Michigan, you can clearly tell that they're not as good as like Alabama versus USC or something like that. Okay, I get it. Yeah,
it's a similar game, and that they're professionals and that they're far better than you would ever be. But then you watch the product at its highest form, and it's just not the same. And now that we have so much more access to all these European games here in the States, it's good to have a local team to root for. But I don't know. I kind of zone out when I watch MLS games, even compared to like U.S. national games.
Well, I just know, like, during football season, I'll get excited because the Rockets are on TV, but then I watch it and I go, this just isn't that good.
Right, you'll watch it.
Yeah.
You'll be like, okay, I like football. I like sports.
But it's just such a clear difference between the top college teams and the mid-major conferences. But
as far as the Galaxy go, I just wanted to say I love that logo.
Well, we all know the best logo.
The original one?
The original mascot. The original mascot logo.
Ugh.
It's a galaxy with an angry.
That's not that's a tornado. It's a galaxy.
It could be a spiral galaxy.
You could call it a lot of other things too.
The description even calls it an orange and yellow cyclone. Galaxy.
Hey, speaking of logos, I had an idea for a new segment for the show I wanted to run past you guys. Well, not logos necessarily. Oh, yeah, logos, I suppose. But I thought it would be cool if we had basically a sports show, the Jersey of the Week on basically a sports show, where we could either pick one ourselves or have our listeners submit one, and it would just be any jersey, and we would talk about that jersey for a couple minutes.
I'm down with it.
I don't know if it's a good idea or a bad idea, but I thought I'd run it past you guys.
I think it's worth a shot.
Okay.
See how it goes.
All right, then we will make a note of that, and we'll start doing that next week. But while we're on AEG, I wanted to bring this up because it was brought up in our thread on the boards that Mike was talking about the AEG stadium thing last week, and we took a hard right turn right out of it and really never finished the conversation. And it has been requested that we pick up that conversation and kind of finish it up. So if you guys are cool with that, we will do that.
It was my talking point, so of course I'm cool with it.
All right, well then let's try it again and see if we can't get somewhere with it this time.
Well, So AEG has decidedly taken the approach that if they can't have a Los Angeles football stadium, no one can. They got a former FBI director to claim that that Stan Kroenke's Inglewood Stadium would pose a security threat because it would be a high-profile target for a terrorist hijacking a plane at LAX. And then they sent a strongly worded letter to the city of Carson where the Raiders and Chargers are doing their joint stadium thing, basically saying we don't like it that you're potentially building an NFL stadium. We're going to sabotage it if you go ahead with it.
Wow. Well, I brought this up last week, and I'll bring it up again. The terrorist threat thing is kind of ridiculous because, as I pointed out last week, the planes that hit the World Trade Center took off from Boston. So proximity really isn't an issue. If somebody wants to fly a plane into your stadium or your building, they're going to find a way to do it, whether you're taking off from LAX or whatever. So I think that's a silly argument.
And I kind of wanted to get Zach's take on it, seeing as well, being from the area, you obviously have a vested interest in how all of these projects pan out.
AEG is just being petty. Mm-hmm. Like this is stupid. Mm-hmm. The main reason why they weren't ever going to get an NFL team is because they wanted majority ownership of whatever team came in, and nobody was ever going to sell them that. Mm-hmm. And while I would have loved to have Farmers Field be a thing, I think a stadium in downtown right next to Staples Center, that would have been pretty cool. Yeah, there would have been a lack of tailgating experience because trust me, parking for things at the Staples Center is awful as it is. I could only imagine how much worse it would be trying to get something going for a weekly football game. Although you could use the very rudimentary LA subway train system.
Is it high-speed rail?
No, it's not. It's just public transit in Southern California, outside of the San Diego trolley system, is generally garbage because we were built around freeways, and they tried to put the trains in after the fact.
Ooh.
That sounds like a bad idea.
Yeah, that's not going to work real well.
Whereas everything else, the trains and the roads were all kind of built together. Los Angeles, we said, oh, well, we have all this space, so roads. Oh, but we have more people here than the roads can accommodate. Public transit. Where do we put it? Oh, in the median of the freeways sometimes.
Really?
Yeah, if you're driving up down the 405 into downtown Los Angeles, the train is like they split the freeway and they put the metro train through the middle of the goddamn freeway.
Oh,
and it's
my
just
God.
like I always drove by them like, how do people get to it? Because I was like, I looked around and I thought, dude, they have to come up from underneath it, I guess, but we're not in the middle of anything. Where is this? Where does it go? Why would you do that? But yeah, it's generally garbage. The Los Angeles Metro subway type system it's actually more useful than people give it credit.
I like how you just call it a subway type system, like it kind of.
Well, because there's hardly any of it's actually underground. And the other thing is, the reason that it's not underground is because we have these things called earthquakes. And things inside the earth probably not safe from Earth collapsing incidents.
Yeah, last place you want to be during an earthquake is on the subway, I would guess.
Probably.
Yeah.
But all things being considered, I'm good with Stan Kroenke's Inglewood Stadium.
You're not worried that if you go to a Los Angeles Rams game there that a terrorist will fly a plane into it at halftime?
No, because they already took that into consideration when they were building it.
And they're going to put a big wall up around it so that a plane can't hit it.
Yeah. No, they knew that there were certain height restrictions to a stadium, so they're building it into the ground because they just had the owners' meetings and they revealed the drawings of what it's going to look like.
By the way, I love how Kroenke's position is. This is what it's going to look like, not this is what it's going to look like if you approve it. It's like it's going to happen, so you know.
I know. And Goodell keeps saying, "Oh well, you know, it's a good time. It's an interesting time for Los Angeles, you know, but we're not committed to anything." It's like bullshit. As soon as that stadium has a hole in the ground. Kroenke's going to say bye-bye St. Louis, hello Rose Bowl, hello Inglewood.
Well, you know, this is something
just to finish off that point, they're building it into the ground, kind of like the way Michigan Stadium is built and the way the Rose Bowl is built. It's the only thing that's going to be above ground is the upper deck, and everything else is going to be built in the ground for a couple of reasons. One, the height thing, and two, making a big ditch and you know, using the ground to kind of reinforce the stadium is actually better for the seismic regulations that you have to deal with building.
Well, yeah, like most stadiums though are built that way. I mean, at least partially. Maybe not as deep as like Michigan or something, but you know, like Jacobs Field or whatever they call it these days. Very similar. I mean, it's higher when you look at it than say like Michigan Stadium is. But there's still a good portion of that is built into the ground. Like the field is a good, I want to say 20 or 30 feet below street level at least.
The only other comparable thing is, well, there's the Rose Bowl, of course. I'm pretty sure the Coliseum is partially in the ground. Or is it? Yeah, the Coliseum is definitely partially in the ground. Because when you come in from the main concourse, you either go down or up.
Can I just say that the Rose Bowl, in terms of football stadiums, is just one classy piece of architecture?
I hate the fact that it's not NFL caliber. Because
like, I don't care. Like if I had an NFL team in Los Angeles, I'd be like, I'll just play at the Rose Bowl. Like whatever.
What would it take though to make it NFL caliber? Would it make? I mean, I know it would take a renovation project, obviously, but it would.
They would have to renovate it. They would probably have to get rid of the stuff that makes it, you know, is. Yeah. They would have to probably make it a little bit taller, and then you get rid of the views of the mountains. And
I mean, if they did it, it'd probably end up being like Soldier Field West, and that would just be a shame.
Yeah.
It looks like this like kind of nice building with a giant UFO on top of it.
Yeah, God, they ruined Soldier Field, man. I mean, just ruined it.
To be perfectly honest, getting to parking at the Rose Bowl is kind of awful too. I mean, Pasadena's a very pretty city, but where the Rose Bowl is, you kind of have to drive through side streets once you get off the freeway, and there is a parking lot, but on UCLA or Rose Bowl game days, there's a long golf course on the north side of the stadium, and the golf course, the fairways and the greens are turned into parking lots. They're like if you play golf on these places, there are paint lines from the parking spaces, and from what I understand, if you actually golf there, the greens and stuff get torn to shreds because people are driving on them.
Oh yeah.
So it's
you're not even supposed to drive your cart on the green, your golf cart, let alone like a 2,000-pound car.
Right. So the whole golf course is a parking lot on game days, and people tailgate there, and it's a mess. And like if you ever go to the Rose Bowl, it is a full day experience because you've got to get there early if you want to get a spot that's within 500 miles of the stadium, and then you get the full game day experience and all that. But then when you leave, because they're so small. The arteries getting out of the stadium area and back onto the freeways are so small, and there's really only one freeway right next to the thing. It's really hard. I love Pasadena. I love everything about the Rose Bowl and the parade. I've never gone to a game because I don't want to do all that nonsense.
Well, that's why I don't go to Ohio State games because it's more of a pain in the ass than it's worth. Really, honestly. But
either of those options of it being smaller, I actually like that better than several times I've been to Qualcomm down in San Diego, and it's this giant, hulking concrete donut just
like
rising out of the Mission Valley.
Out of like old Cleveland Stadium.
Oh, it is.
Well, is Qualcomm from that era? Is it from that era of cookie cutter concrete?
Yeah.
Well,
bowls?
yeah, because it not only was it was also the Padres field for the longest time.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
I went to a couple Padres games, and during the Padres games they call it Jack Murphy, and Padres games at that place were awesome. Especially because the Padres teams I watched when I would go down there were terrible.
Were they?
Like, this wasn't the '98 Padres; these were bad Padres.
And they were out of the brown and gold at that point, right?
Yeah, they were. A couple times I went down there, it was the orange and navy blue with the pinstripes.
I will say the one time I got to see the Padres was at the World Series when they played the Tigers, and they wore the McDonald's brown tops with the whole thing. So that was kind of cool. I got to see them.
God, they need to go back to brown.
But anyway,
I will also say if you go to San Diego now and see a Padres game at Petco, the Padres could be the worst team in the whole league, and you will enjoy yourself because Petco is a great.
It looks awesome.
It is awesome. The location's great. The amenities are great. The seats are great. The stadium experience is great, and I'm glad that the Padres are starting to try and make something of themselves now. Maybe have a team that's deserving of the stadium it plays in.
Speaking of San Diego, though, something else that came out of all this NFL Los Angeles talk was that apparently the NFL views Southern California all as one giant market, and they want two teams there. So it's not just two in L.A. and like one in San Diego. Like they want two, and whether one's in L.A. and one's in San Diego or both in L.A. doesn't really matter.
Well, something interesting.
Part of it's the Chargers always considered L.A. the secondary market,
which
wasn't.
I will tell you, L.A. and San Diego are not connected. I mean, they are, but there's a giant military base that's 10. I think it's 10 or 15 miles down the coast that just kind of cuts off any interaction people from LA and Orange County have with people of San Diego.
I don't think it's. I don't. I mean, do they kind of view it the same way you view like Dallas, Fort Worth, or St. Paul, Minneapolis? Because it seems
to be how they're considering it.
Yeah, but that's not the way it is at all. I mean, hell, even here in the Midwest, I can tell you that.
It also seems silly because for the longest time you had two teams in LA and the Chargers, and that seemed to work perfectly fine for everyone.
I think they're saying that now, just because of how, I think they're saying that now with hindsight and how things have shaken out over the last few months, where it looks like the Rams are going to move to Los Angeles.
No one's stopping Stan.
St. Louis can scramble on their stadium all they want. Stan Kroenke's not going to go into that stadium because Stan Kroenke's building his own stadium,
and it's going to have blackjack and hookers.
Yeah, this is the thing that is happening. So the Rams are going to move here. The Chargers seem to have scared San Diego into finally moving into action.
It's only been 14 years, but woo!
Yeah, well, yeah, and it remains to be seen if that actually moves through. But I would suspect at the end of it, the Chargers stay there. Then you have the Raiders, and there's so many different ways to shoot them.
This is what I wanted to get into was the Raiders because the joke of them moving to St. Louis is suddenly picking up some steam.
I don't.
I'm just saying, there's a lot of people talking. I mean, I've heard
Peter King was in on it,
right?
Well, Peter King's also awful,
a clown.
Yeah, but he's a shill for the NFL, and you got to. I don't know, but what one thing I wanted to bring up before I forget is that the NFL lifted the blackout rules for next year,
right?
What does that mean? What did that possibly mean? Well, because the Rose Bowl or the Coliseum both hold about 11 billion people, which you're not going to get for an NFL game. So we got to lift the blackout rules. I think it's to accommodate Los Angeles. What else would it be?
Well, it could be that. It could be other. They could be saying like, well, we know St. Louis is probably going to be a lame duck. So if people don't sell out, they're never going to see the games there this season because people know if they know the team's leaving. Or I think there's a lot of teams recently that more and more you've seen kind of attendance fluctuate in some of these markets.
I mean, let's face it. NFL tickets are pricey, and if the economy isn't doing super well, they're
pricey. And really, the in-stadium experience in an NFL game isn't as good as you would think it is.
Not at all.
I've found in my experience that football is a game that is best viewed from the comfort of your own home.
Absolutely,
and because they've been playing towards the television broadcasters for decades now to make for commercial times and presentation and schedules and all that stuff. That the NFL is a TV show.
Yep.
It is not necessarily a in-stadium sporting product. It is a television show. And it's been marketed that way. It's been structured that way. This is what it is. And this experience of sitting at home, being able to switch through games if you have DirecTV, or just going to a sports bar.
Or hell, you can get that experience in Jacksonville.
Right. But you've seen a lot of more teams recently that have had to do the thing where, we have to extend the deadline on the blackout, and then magically at the end of it, local business has bought up all of the tickets.
Yeah.
That Monday night game for the Rams and the 49ers in St. Louis.
Monday night and Sunday night games are different because they have to be shown.
Yeah, they obviously have to be shown, but still, that game illustrates how bad an empty stadium plays on television.
And to be perfectly honest, I think the NFL would be better served with some of these new stadiums instead of making them bigger.
Make them smaller
because they want the Super Bowl there. If you made these stadiums smaller and made them like 50,000 seat stadiums and increase the supply demand on NFL tickets, I think it'd be a better thing for the actual game day experience of
I absolutely
would never
agree.
Do that.
No, they're never going to do that. But unless you, like you said, if you do that, you've pretty much taken yourself out of Super Bowl consideration, because they're never going to let a 50,000 seat stadium have the Super Bowl. But it's like you said, Zach, as they have progressed towards making it a TV show over all else. When I went to games back in the 80s, the Browns games, they were awesome because there wasn't as many commercial breaks. It wasn't as corporate, and it was a lot of fun because it was just a bunch of people that got in there and acted crazy for the Browns. But then the last time I went was, about 10 years ago, and it was awful because it was, Did
you go to the new dog pound?
Yeah, and what you get is basically a lot of standing around and watching guys just stand on the field because, like, during a commercial break, they can't go to the sideline. They just have to stand out there. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you're watching two teams stand in a huddle for 3.5 minutes.
Yep. Well,
and there are so many breaks during the game, and there's never any momentum built up in it when you're there.
You get the problem of exciting touchdown, great, extra point, timeout, kickoff, timeout.
Yep.
And then you play the game. It's like the kickoff is just kind of there. You don't need to bracket a kickoff with commercial breaks. First off, that's just dumb.
No. But as the rights fees get bigger, they have to find the networks have to find more places to sell ad space, and that's because it didn't used to be kickoff, go to commercial. It used to be kickoff, and then usually you'd run the first series, the first team on offense, and then whenever you score, punt, whatever, then you would get your first commercial break. Not anymore. Now it's like kickoff will be right back after this. And,
it's why I would never, as much as going to a Super Bowl is like, going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I could imagine actually sitting at the Super Bowl to try and watch the game.
Oh, it'd be bored out of your mind.
Probably terrible.
Yeah.
Honestly, the only way to do the Super Bowl and actually enjoy yourself is if you manage to get into a private box.
Right.
And you can see the commercials.
Yeah.
If they played the commercials on the Jumbotron, that'd be different, but they don't.
I'm surprised they haven't done that yet.
You don't get to see the commercials.
I actually
you see whatever the trivia game. Row 263, you've won a free burrito.
Well, you get that, and you get the commercials that were sold in stadium for the sponsors.
Sure.
Yeah, it's. I just want to go back to Mike was talking about Jacksonville. I think it would be great if they did like a Twitter poll or something, and you got to pick which game you wanted to watch on the big screen TV while you were there.
No. Here's what they do.
Okay, we got Bills, Dolphins, Raiders, whatever. I think that'd be awesome.
Here's what they do. They do that whole trivia thing, right, where they pick a random seat, and then the guy answers the trivia questions right. He gets the remote control and choose the game on Red Zone at the Jacksonville game.
That's even better. That's even better than my idea. I like that.
NFL moving to Los Angeles is not the biggest issue it currently facing.
Oh, no. What is, Zach? Tell us.
The biggest. There is a scourge upon the game of American gridiron football, and it needs to be rectified.
Oh no.
The extra point.
Yes.
Oh, God.
Kick it from the 2, it's too easy. 80% of these things are made. This is a farce. Move it to the 1 so they have to kick shorter. Move it to the 15 so it's longer. Maybe you make them, as my Indianapolis Colts drunkenly suggested.
This is funny. I love this.
So you score a touchdown.
Was there say hi on something?
Yes.
So they score. Then they get the 2-point conversion. And then if you get the 2-point conversion, you get a special extra point.
Right.
Where you get to kick from the 50 to try and make it through the uprights. So you could get a 9-point touchdown.
What? You know what, though? As crazy as that sounds, think about it from a money perspective. That's another commercial break you could throw in.
No.
After
they wouldn't be a commercial break. It'd be and now the extra point. Sponsored by
Papa John's Pizza. You got like a little
we heard you liked extra points, so we put an extra point on top of your extra point.
Let's not forget, too, Zach, that granted the extra point was the most important thing that had to be discussed, but
of course,
we've had a change to what constitutes a catch in the NFL as well.
Oh, have they made it more complicated?
I think yes, they have.
What is it? It's no longer you don't need to make a football move.
No, but you have to become a runner.
Right, you have to become a runner.
Which leads
me. You catch the ball and fall down.
Yeah, guess
what? Does that mean you ran? No.
What constitutes running?
Well, that's my point. Let's say you make a great diving catch.
Yeah, well, you know, it's overthrown. You jump out, you catch it, then you hit the ground. There's no running there involved.
No, but yeah, that's the new definition now. Is that what is it? I forget how they put it. You after the catch is complete when you go from receiver to runner. I guess is basically what it boils down to.
Right, and so this wouldn't have helped Des Bryant, by the way.
No,
still would not be a catch.
I don't know about Calvin Johnson either. I don't know if that would have made a bit of difference.
I don't. Okay. How can a football league turn the simple act of catching a football into this philosophical mind puzzle?
Like, football move, as nebulous as that was.
And then for a season, it became a move common to the game.
The thing is, football move was actually probably the best description because you could say, oh, well, yeah, okay, football move, sure. But then move common to the game, well, so it is what would be uncommon? Jumping on a pogo stick?
Right. I was just going to say, like, if you picked up one leg and hopped on the other, that's an uncommon move. They have, though. They've complicated something as simple as catching a football to the point where if I'm a referee at this point, I'm like, oh, my God, please don't make me have to call any tough catches, you know?
I don't know. Like if take the Calvin Johnson, the Des Bryant catches. If in both cases the refs just said it's a catch and the game went on, would anyone have debated it? Would anyone have been like, oh, it's obviously not a catch?
No.
Like everyone would have been like, oh, yeah, that's a catch. The ref called it a catch. It's a catch.
No, there's no who was it? Was it the Patriots that they wanted to make every play reviewable?
Oh, my God.
Every play would be...
Bill Belichick suggested that every play be reviewable.
He's won his 4th Super Bowl, and now he's mad with power.
Yeah, because...
This is the Bella League.
Because games don't take long enough already. Let's make every play reviewable. Oh, my God.
So that one run up the middle for a yard, we need to review that. And
he wasn't just talking like the basic review stuff, right? He meant like literally you could go back, okay, there was a hold here, interference there, this, that, and the other thing, right?
Yeah, because Bill Belichick's a fucking psychopath.
Well, yeah.
The whole thing is a mess beyond a mess. It's a straw man sort of thing because... They're going to talk about these things anyway because this is the game stuff. It's not – you can't just say, oh, well, hey, you have rapists in your league. Why don't you take care of that before you fix the extra point? It's like, well –
although maybe they probably should.
Well, they should. That's not the point.
All that needs to be fixed, no doubt about it, but that doesn't make it wrong to discuss the rules and stuff, you know?
Right. These are things that happen every year, even when back when the NFL was clean and squeaky and no one got arrested. Which, you know.
What you mean back when the media didn't cover it as closely as they do now?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. When it wasn't a 24/7 television show.
While we're on the NFL, what do we want to go to next? Do we want to go to the Browns having 9 different uniform combinations? We also have the new, what's it called?
Oh, at the 50?
At the 50, yes.
This is the 50th Super Bowl.
Right.
And they disappointed us by not making it Super Bowl L.
Right. They are making it Super Bowl 50. And so to celebrate the 50th Super Bowl, everything will be gold this year. The 50-yard line at every NFL stadium will be gold.
Yeah.
All the logos on the fields will be outlined in gold. The stuff at the draft will be, you guessed it, outlined in gold. Despite, the Jaguars or the Panthers only being around for 21 years. They will
He's the man with the Midas touch.
Yeah.
Gold finger.
Also, Keith Olbermann pointed this out, and it's kind of, I guess it's, what am I trying to say?
It's a problem.
Well, no, not that it's not, okay, putting the gold on everything's a problem, but in terms of what his actual complaint was, it's kind of nitpicky, where this is the 50th Super Bowl.
Not the 50th anniversary.
Gold is reserved for 50th anniversaries, and technically, it's not the 50th anniversary.
It's the 49th anniversary.
Right.
Another thing I've heard that this is a complaint is that it further delegitimizes the pre-Super Bowl championship.
Well, that
ship sailed.
Yeah, that's been over for a while now.
Name what team holds the most NFL championships.
Packers 13.
Well, okay.
I just love those championships because it's got teams like the Lions and the Cardinals going, we were NFL champs once.
Well, here's the other thing, though. In other sports, when you say, the 27 Yankees, 2002 Angels, that was the year they won the championship.
Right.
But with the Super Bowls, you can say 85 Bears or 72 Dolphins. What Super Bowl did those teams win?
20 for the Bears, I think.
Bears was 20. The Dolphins was 7, I want to say. But it's not something that's immediately
right.
It comes right off the top of your head.
Right. When I think of the Colts, I don't say oh yeah, the Super Bowl 41 Colts. No,
right.
I think of the 2007 Indianapolis Colts.
I couldn't tell you right now the Super Bowl where the Packers beat the Steelers. What was it? Number 40? What?
40? One of the mid 40s?
Yeah, but that's the best guess I can give you.
44.
When they beat New England,
44 was Saints Colts.
But yeah, it doesn't.
But yeah, you have to put some thinking into it. I can remember a couple just because they were milestone type games, and so then it's I have to count backwards from that. Okay, Colts 41. Who won the year after the Colts? So that'd be 42.
Wait, the Colts won in what? 06, right?
Right. That was 06 into 07.
Yeah, but it was the 2006 season was the year they won the Super Bowl, right?
Right.
God, who did win it the next year?
It was the Giants.
Giants Patriots. Yeah, the helmet catch game, right?
And then 43 was Cardinals Steelers.
Okay.
44 was Saints Colts. 45
was that Packers Steelers?
I think. Yeah, because that was the first year of the silver patch.
Well, let me think.
Yeah, 45 was the first year of the standardized logo.
Yeah. So that was
which was another colossal screw up on the NFL's part.
That was Steelers Packers.
Yeah. Okay.
The 46 was
after Steelers Packers. It was
that was New England.
That was New England Giants, wasn't it?
The second New England Giants.
Yeah.
That was the second Patriots Giants, and then 47
is that Ravens 49ers.
Yeah, that's the one where I was expecting Bane to make an appearance.
And 48 was Seahawks and.
With Seahawks, Broncos,
Broncos, and then
Patriots, Seahawks.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
But this is what I'm saying. You have to work it out.
Well, yeah. I mean, what do
the numbers really mean? Other than this is the 50th Super Bowl,
right?
Tell me who won Super Bowl 23.
I think it was Bears, Giants, Redskins.
See, you're thinking about
88, 49ers.
San Francisco.
Was it 49ers?
Whereas,
who won the Stanley Cup in 1999?
99. Oh,
that was Dallas, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Wasn't it Dallas? Yeah.
Yeah, Dallas won in 99.
Dallas won in 2000. Avalanche won in 01. Red Wings won in 02.
Yeah.
Devils won in 03. Tampa won in 04.
You see, you lose me
But
after.
there wasn't an 05.
Right. 06 was, who won
Carolina.
Oh, God.
07 Ducks, 08 Red Wings, 09 Penguins, 09 or 10 was 10 Blackhawks or Bruins?
10 was Blackhawks. 11 was Bruins.
11 Bruins, 12 Kings.
Kings. 13 had to be the Blackhawks then, right?
Yes.
13 was Blackhawks again.
Right.
14 Kings.
Kings. And then this year, it will be the Detroit Red Wings.
No.
The Ottawa Senators beating the Winnipeg Jets.
Yeah, that's the one I want to see happen. Just because
NBC would die. NBC just kill themselves.
NBC would throw NBC Sports onto a katana. It's committed ritual suicide.
Well,
I think they would opt to like. So some of these games are supposed to be on NBC, right? They're no. These are on. We're going to throw them on Spike. Just because.
Tonight on RFD television.
Tonight on
Jets versus Senators.
Closed Circuit, PBS. Oh, no, they put it on the Audience Network. That's what they put it on.
Meanwhile, if that happened, CBC and Rogers Sportsnet would just be blowing themselves continuously.
Oh, you'd have, two Canadian teams, yeah.
But Ottawa, Winnipeg?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely.
Well, I guess they'd be assured that the Cup would come back to Canada in some shape.
Yeah, that would be the main thing. Like, nobody really gives a crap about the Senators, but the Jets are a feel-good story, so, you know.
Absolutely. Is it WrestleMania this weekend?
WrestleMania is this weekend. It's this Sunday. And this Friday, Andy and I are going to have basically a wrestling show. We're going to
Friday before Sunday.
we're going to do our WrestleMania show where we, put forth our hopes and dreams of what we want to see, and then we're going to do a post show on Tuesday or Wednesday.
Tuesday.
where we then moan in sadness about how the company screwed up and how everything's terrible. Jack from Basically Geek Show was going to join us, but scheduling conflicts got in the way of that, so it's just going to be Andy and I. And
oh, you want me to step in? I'm a wrestling expert.
The Undertaker does have a match this year, so
really.
He does, yes. He's facing off against Bray Wyatt.
Didn't he lose?
He lost at last year's WrestleMania, but he's coming back to wrestle Bray Wyatt because Bray Wyatt, his gimmick is that of a backwoods cult leader.
Right.
So they're doing this thing where they want Bray Wyatt to succeed The Undertaker as the face of fear in the WWE.
Oh, good luck with that.
The general consensus is that Undertaker's going to show up to make him a star.
So is it confirmed that The Undertaker's going to be there, or is it just a rumor amongst
No. He's going to be there.
Okay, great.
Unless WWE's planning a massive bait and switch because they've been advertising as, hey, Undertaker's going to be there.
Oh, okay. All right. I didn't know if it was just an actual thing or if it was just rumor amongst the because I know there's a lot of rumors that fly amongst you guys.
Oh, yeah, lots of rumors, and we're going to talk about all of that on Friday and Sunday.
Well,
Friday
to
and
tie that back into real sports, on Monday, our good friend Billy Simmons.
Oh.
He was a guest announcer on WWE Raw.
He was, yes.
Mike,
yes.
Tell us how the BS master, BS reporter, did and his little debut there.
The guy obviously is a fan. Interesting little tidbit. If you watch the main event from SummerSlam 2014 where Brock Lesnar beats John Cena.
Okay.
Right, yeah.
There is the sound of this annoying child the entire match going.
Simmons was there, right.
Yeah, going, let's go Cena. It's like an ice pick on your brain as you're watching this match. That's Bill Simmons' kid.
Really?
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Simmons brought that up on the podcast once.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Simmons also interviewed Hulk Hogan and went over like old Hogan video on his podcast this week, so it's
actually
something
really
for me to skip.
Strange how much play ESPN has been giving WWE. You had the Bill Simmons thing coming on Raw, obviously. John Gruden deconstructed the Andre Giant Battle Royal.
Right. And Brock Lesnar, who we were just talking about, he broke the news that he was going to re-sign with WWE and not return to UFC.
That I did see.
Was broken on SportsCenter.
Yeah.
Really?
So WWE news was like a lead story on SportsCenter.
Brock Lesnar, who's the current WWE champion and who just re-signed for 3 years, is a former UFC heavyweight champion, and for better or worse, he brings an air of legitimacy to it, where you're watching it and you go, okay, I know it's fake, but Brock Lesnar could proudly kick a lot of people's asses. So
there's a lot of WWE fans on ESPN. I know that for a fact.
Mm-hmm.
So we can't get ESPN to cover the NHL, but they'll cover wrestling.
Yes.
For a minute. Well, I think I didn't actually see it, but he did it. Lesnar made the reveal in an interview with Michelle Beadle, who is a big wrestling fan.
Right.
I actually have to get around to seeing John Gruden deconstructing the Andre the Giant Battle Royal.
Who's the big match? Who's the big match for WrestleMania this year?
The big match is Brock Lesnar defending the WWE Unified World Title against Roman Reigns.
Roman Reigns, which no one likes.
No one likes, even though the WWE keeps trying to get everyone to like him.
Right.
I saw a headline where somebody said that the crowd booed, like the storyline was announced.
It was on Deadspin, right?
Yeah. People booed, and then this past week on Raw, this was like the last Raw before WrestleMania. So, they have this big, intense stare-down between Lesnar and Reigns is supposed to be the good guy, but the crowd is chanting, "Let's go, Lesnar!"
The clip they posted on the WWE website left out the part where Roman Reigns came into the ring because everybody was booing him, right?
Yeah, everyone boos him mercilessly. It's so bad that The Rock, who's probably one of the most beloved wrestlers of all time, he's Roman Reigns' cousin. Well, when Roman Reigns won the Royal Rumble to get his title shot, The Rock came out to celebrate with him. Everyone's like, oh, well, he'll benefit from The Rock being there, and people booed The Rock.
Well, here's my take on Roman Reigns, what little I know about wrestling, but it seems to me that he is just a pretty boy that they're trying to prop up into a position that no one wants him to be in. Is that fair?
Basically, they're trying to make him a big star, which isn't a bad thing in and of itself because you do need new stars. The problem is that they're going about it the wrong way. It's like, okay, if you want Roman Reigns to win the Royal Rumble and challenge Brock Lesnar, he's a big guy. He's a strong guy. So have him come in and have him clear house, make him look like a badass. So we want to see him fight Brock Lesnar. Instead, he comes into the ring and rests in the corner for 20 minutes until the end when he flips the last guy out and wins. And it's like, well, okay. And then his promos that he cuts against, the quote-unquote heels, he's using Looney Tunes catchphrases. He's saying suffering succotash, and it's like, well, what the hell are you going on about?
You can't be serious.
Yeah, no, he actually said suffering succotash, and it was meant to be a serious wrestling promo. Look it up on YouTube. It's hilarious. The problem isn't necessarily that Roman Reigns is being built up as the next big guy because they need a next big guy.
Are they trying to appeal to my grandfather with that shit or what?
I have no fucking idea what they're doing. I have
suffering succotash.
I'm hunting for rabbits.
It's absolutely mind-blowing. So it's like Roman Reigns could be cool if they did it right. They're just doing it wrong. So Roman Reigns isn't necessarily the problem. It's the creative direction.
I've got to see him saying suffering succotash. I got to see this.
I'm looking it up right now. Roman.
Did he say it as a joke?
No.
No?
No.
That's just part of his everyday conversation, part of his lexicon, just to say suffering.
There's the video. It's around 4 minutes long, so you might want to check it out later, but it's in there.
Jesus Christ. Anyway.
Oh, wow.
Hockey, guys?
Yeah, let's move on to hockey. So, when we last left you, the Boston Bruins were a playoff team.
Oh, no.
But the Hamburglar has struck again. The Ottawa Senators, with a game in hand even, pulled ahead of the Boston Bruins the other day into 8th place, the second wild card in the Eastern Conference. And Boston Bruins, if the playoffs started today, would not be in the playoff race. Hamburglar.
Wow. Ottawa's got a game in hand. There's 10 games left. They've got a
game in hand. They've got one more win than Boston does, one less regulation overtime win. But still, Ottawa made a freaking surge lately.
9-1 in their last 10. They've won 7 in a row. Not bad.
Yep.
Not bad for a team that I forget even exists. That's pretty good.
They're like the anti-Leafs. lost 6 in a row or 1-8-1 in the last 10. The Leafs are surging in the wrong direction and too late. They're not going to get Connor McDavid points, I don't think.
I don't know. It's possible.
Buffalo's up on them by 13. I don't see it happening.
But yeah, Ottawa. Hey, what's up? Where have you been?
Well,
nice to see you.
The best part about all this are the hamburgers that the fans are pelting the ice with.
Going on the ice, and players like Curtis Lazar picking up and eating.
Excellent.
Right off the ice.
Great.
Because he is apparently a homeless person.
Speaking of hockey really quick, when we last spoke, it was last Sunday, and Zach and I were going to watch Rangers-Ducks. And the first period, I thought, this is going to be a hell of a game.
Yeah, 3-2. Corey Perry, a couple goals.
Yeah. That was the thing. It was like, okay, Rangers are up 3-2. This is cool, but I got a couple goals out of Perry, so that's good for my fantasy team. It couldn't have been better. What happened?
Defense.
Yeah, I guess.
Really, this led up to some of the incidents that happened on the boards this week, if anyone cares to look. But the Ducks have issues with faster teams. Like, right. They haven't been great against the Rangers. They haven't looked good against Tampa Bay, and both of those teams are solid and quick. And Bruce Boudreau is kind of fiddling around with the defensive pairings right now.
Okay, let me look at the standings here really quick. Could it be that Boudreau is just like kind of resting his guys before the playoffs because they're up 9 in the division.
We're up 9 in the division, but they're still fighting for the lead in the West.
Right.
They have a shot at the President's Trophy still.
You don't want the President's Trophy.
No, not really.
Ask the Sharks how much it matters.
The only reason I want the President's Trophy is because I like having banners. Like, it's nice to see us as a franchise. All of a sudden, we're going to have 3 straight division banners. Something I never in a million years thought the Ducks would ever get to a level where they would be this consistently good.
Yeah.
Winning divisions. And, like, that's cool to see. Because now, in several years down the road, hopefully there'll be a cup banner up there to signify this too. But you'll be like, hey, look at that era from 2010 to 2015 or whatever.
Right.
Those were some great teams. Look at all the accomplishments they had. And of course, if you're a team like the Sharks, where it's like, hey, look at all those accomplishments. Regular season Western Conference champions. But then you look back at it and say, yeah, those were some good teams, but no Stanley Cups.
You gotta
so on the other side, it's like all those banners are nice, but if you don't have the cup,
yeah, you got to have the cup banner in there somewhere. Yeah, that's got to be your exclamation point to all the other banners. Because if not, it just looks like a bunch of failures in the playoffs. San Jose.
And speaking of that, yeah, it looks like we're going to have eventually the Great Shark Cleansing this offseason,
which is probably for the best, but they're not going to be able to do what they want to do.
Yeah, Thornton and Marlowe are joined at the hip, and yeah,
they have no trade clauses. San Jose is now 10 points out. They fell behind Dallas. The Sharks went into full just screw it. We're over it mode.
Back to Marlowe and Thornton for a second. Now they have no trade clauses, but obviously, so you had to say, hey, guess what? We're going to trade you to Ottawa. See you later.
No,
but are there teams that they would be willing to go to? Is what I'm saying.
Well, the thing, maybe, but the thing is, both of them, and Thornton more vocally than Marlowe, enjoy living the existence they have in San Jose, where they're not bothered, where their families are settled.
Yeah,
they really just like San Jose and Silicon Valley and living there. And you saw it with somebody like Shane Doan, where he has a no-trade contract.
He thought his no-trade contract meant the team couldn't move to Winnipeg.
Right. but then you see where they sell off, where the Coyotes sell off all of their assets, and so now they're plunging fast to the bottom. And because of Shane Doan's no-trade contract, he's sticking it out there because he really likes living in Phoenix, which is fine.
But did he get some weird desert disease?
Rocky Mountain fever.
What exactly is that?
Which sounds like something that 19th century gold prospector would come down with.
Right,
It's some form of bronchitis, I think.
It's actually Rocky Mountain spotted fever for those of you at home that are scoring the show, just to make sure you get that correct in your scorebook.
But he, it seems that Shane Doan, if Shane Doan really had the thirst and the desire to go win a Stanley Cup in Arizona, like somebody in Arizona would say, hey, do you want to go somewhere and win a cup? You've got like 2 years left. Do you want to go do this? And he would say, yeah, I'll waive my no trade clause to help the team and to go win a cup somewhere for me. But Shane Doan doesn't seem to want that. So on the same page with Thornton and Marlowe, I think they're both pretty happy with their existence. I don't know if either of them has that burning desire to leave the comfort that they have to go win a Stanley Cup in exchange for 2 years away from their family or whatever.
Well, not only that, but they've kind of shown that they don't have the that extra gear you need to win a cup in the first place. I think they've proven it at this point. Yeah.
Well, but I think that's part of it.
Yeah.
Is if they had that burning desire,
they wouldn't be there. They would be willing to move, but they'd be willing to move, is what I'm saying.
Well, not that, but if they had that burning desire, maybe the Sharks would have been different.
Yeah.
If they had that burning desire, maybe they wouldn't have blown 4th straight against L.A. after winning 3.
I still can't fucking believe that. But anyway, I still want to go down that road. But
the shot of Joe Thornton after that game, where he just looks utterly defeated.
That is my favorite Sharks gif, because it is like on their tombs. If it's possible to make a tombstone for a franchise, and have a gif beyond that tombstone,
the Sharks move back to Cleveland. We could bring back the shark with the top hat.
I just want that to be the Sharks logo next year.
I know we've talked about this, but I just want to say again, it was hilarious watching your reaction to the thread after the Kings went up like 2-1 and then 3-1, and then Zach just, oh no.
After every game, I just said, "Oh no, oh no."
I think I knew it when it got to be 3-2. I thought this is over. They're not. It's done. That's it.
No, when it got to 3-2, the Sharks looked dead.
Yeah,
for whatever
you could just tell.
Just looked dead in the water, and now we're stuck with this reality where the Kings are 2-time Stanley Cup champions, and hey, we don't need to play the full season. We'll just hang around.
Hey, I don't know.
What's that? Oh, we're only 2 points out of a playoff spot, you say?
they're not in it yet. Like, I don't know if Winnipeg can hold them off. Then
it's not even Winnipeg. They're a point behind Calgary for 3rd place in the Pacific,
which is such a fucking joke that they're closer to making 3rd place in the Pacific than they are making the wild card.
Yeah, but that's just the way it's.
I know. The way that it is stupid.
I know. But
what are they are. Yeah, they're what, 2 points?
2 points behind Winnipeg with a game in hand, and they're a point behind Calgary with a game in hand.
Ooh.
Now the Kings hold the tiebreaker over Winnipeg, but they do not have the tiebreaker over Calgary. So, go Flames, though.
Wouldn't we rather live in a world where the Flames and the Jets make the playoffs and the Kings stay home? Oh, yeah, I think so, yeah.
We all want that. But, I think it would be awesome to have Vancouver-Calgary in the first round, too. Because that would be good for both those teams, because I don't think either one could beat the Ducks if the Ducks make it to the second round. I don't know if I want the Ducks to play Winnipeg, though.
Look at Minnesota. They're I actually picked them to make the finals out of the West this year, and now, because there was a while there they weren't in the thick of it like this for a little while. Weren't early on.
No, and they got Devin Dubnyk on the beginning of February.
Yeah, I had him picked up. I had him for 2 days in my fantasy team, and then I dropped him like an idiot.
And somehow or another, Devin Dubnyk. Who the hell is Devin Dubnyk?
Yeah, wasn't he on those god-awful Oiler teams?
He was a terrible Oilers backup goaltender. Got traded to Montreal for a minute, and then got traded to Nashville for another minute. Started out this year with Phoenix, or Arizona, excuse me. Some people think that when he was in Arizona, the goaltending coach there is Sean Burke. And Sean Burke has done wonders for kind of taller goaltenders like Mike Smith, even though Mike Smith's having a bad year, but the rest of the team's bad. Devin Dubnyk has started 32 consecutive games for Minnesota.
Wow.
And he's 33, 11, and 3 this season total. 24-6 with the Wild.
I could have had him as one of my goaltenders, but no.
Right.
I've got Cam Ward.
He was 9-5 in Phoenix with a 272 goals against. Comes to Minnesota, 24-6 with a 938 save percentage and a 171 goals against.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which is a full goal below his career goals against average. Poor Columbus. Before the Ducks game, the Ducks radio people put out the note that as long as nobody else gets hurt for Columbus, they will finish the season with 500 man games lost.
I think that's what killed their season right out of the gate. It was like the team that was in the playoffs last year were all on the IR.
Because you look at them, and they're 13 points out of a playoff spot right now.
Yeah.
Right? Which, obviously, a lot. They're not going to make that up. That'd be insane. But you think about all the injuries and how they've played when they're healthy. Like, they're 8-2 in their last 10. They've won 4 in a row.
Yeah.
If Columbus was healthy for the full season, they'd be right up in the mix with everybody else.
I think so.
So,
well,
sorry,
you know what, though? But maybe this isn't. I think we talked about this a while back. Maybe a year out of the playoffs isn't the worst thing for them because they'll get better draft position and all that, and they can kind of strengthen up even more.
If Columbus wins the lottery,
that'd be awesome.
And if Columbus got Connor McDavid,
but then Connor McDavid just might die. That's the problem.
Hey, no, he'll be fine. They have Tim Hortons there.
Just make sure he gets there early.
He's got the comforts of home. Oh, they've got a Timmy's? Oh, all right. They're practically Canada.
He'll love Columbus. Columbus is great. He'll love it there.
Plus he's going to be, 18 years old in a college football town?
Hey, not bad. I didn't even think about that, but yeah.
Hey, you got a free Saturday night there, Connor? Want to go down to the Delta Zeta house?
Go over to High Street and hang out, yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that would be something. I don't think they're going to get him, but that'd be incredible.
He's going to become the Canadian Patrick Kane, where he's just constantly with co-eds the entire offseason.
Well, that's a bad thing. But yeah, anyway, with the Blue Jackets, so yeah, I think had they been healthy all season, it would be a completely different story. But even so, they've kind of, they're playing good hockey, and I think the future's bright. Yeah.
Let's see, Montreal, first team with 100 points. They're currently on top of the league. There are 4 teams with 99 points. The Rangers being one of them, but the Rangers have games in hand on everybody. They've got 2 games in hand on Montreal, 3 games in hand on the Ducks, which is insane at this point in the season. The Rangers are obviously the favorite for the President's Trophy right now, just simply if they win the games in hand.
God, no. Don't want that. Don't want it, no. Take a couple games.
Does Marty St. Louis have any more parents that can die and give them a playoff push?
Jesus.
I mean, I hate to say it, but I hope so.
Well, Henrik Lundqvist is supposed to be coming back this week, so good for the Rangers. Even though they're something like 14-4 since he's been.
Yeah, what's that guy's name? Talbot, I guess, has played really well. Yeah, he's played really well. Yeah.
Were the season to end today, the playoff matchups in the East would be Montreal, Ottawa. Not bad.
That CBC would like that one, right, Mike?
Oh yeah, they would.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Rangers and the Capitals for the 776th time.
Oh, God, really?
Yeah.
That gets a little old.
Yeah. The Yzerman Cup with Tampa, Detroit.
Is the Yzerman Cup shaped like a square pizza pan?
Pizza.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, it is.
Okay.
And it's not vertical, so you can see it. It sets on top, like so you can put a pizza right on it. You see?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Pizza.
It's not only is it a trophy, it also makes a fine, dining apparel or whatever.
Well, those would be some fun series, I think. Actually,
Tampa Bay Detroit would be interesting, I think.
If I squint my eyes, it'll almost look like the Maple Leafs are in the playoffs.
Exactly. That's what I keep saying. You should just get on board with the Lightning and, don't wear your glasses. You'll be fine.
Yeah, well, because Tampa Bay would play Detroit and then probably Montreal, and those are Leaf rivals. In theory. In the Western Conference, if the playoffs started today, by the regulation overtime wins tiebreaker, Anaheim's in first. So, give or take, St. Louis would play Winnipeg, Anaheim would play Minnesota, or Anaheim would play Winnipeg, St. Louis would play Minnesota. And then you'd have Nashville, Chicago, and Vancouver, Calgary.
What kind of chance could the Jets fans come up with for the Ducks and the Blues?
Tamu loves us more. Tamu loves us more.
Your captain's bald. And I guess for the Blues, I don't know, something involving Bosnians.
You should have moved to Saskatoon.
Ladies and gentlemen, Zach's Tabs.
Zach's Tabs!
We'll start with our good friends in the National Football Association.
Because they don't get nearly enough of our attention as it is.
No. Deadspin, every year, they do a Freedom of Information request from the FCC about complaints about the Super Bowl. 34 total complaints about the Super Bowl and the halftime show. So some of the FCC complaints: during the halftime of Sunday's NFL Super Bowl on NBC, a person by the name of Missy Elliott repeatedly yelled the term, quote, "Give me some new shit."
Are you freaking
This
serious?
occurred on February 1st, spelled out F-R-I-S-T, at approximately 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. A later song by her featured Miss Elliott yelling about, quote, "big cock, pussy, and shaving my chocha." Lyrics again, NSFW. Has America lost all sense of decency? Let's see, another one. Show obviously directed at children contain lyrics that can only be called disgusting by anyone of normal sensibilities. A massive fine is in order to prevent viewing public from ever again seeing a young female singing on a family venue. I kissed a girl and I liked it. Hey, baby. And then there were complaints about some of the commercials. Let's see. The word bitch being used during a family broadcast like the Super Bowl is profane and should not be allowed. After the commercial, my 8 and 10-year-old daughters both repeated the word and had to be punished, which really took away from our Super Bowl experience. Then there were a bunch of complaints about the nationwide dead child.
Well, fair enough.
Oh, God, yeah. Wow.
I and hundreds of other parents who have lost children have been deeply offended by nationwide Super Bowl commercial. We are fragile, and being blindsided during what should be a pleasant event is just wrong. I have PTSD, and this has triggered a long night of nightmares and terrors.
That's a bit much.
To be fair, that was a messed up commercial.
It really was messed up. Yeah, I can't argue with their logic, but I think they're overreacting.
Buy our insurance or your kid will die.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll swing back to your neck of the woods here for a second, Greg.
Okay.
You remember a while ago when there was the story about the Ohio State band coach getting fired for sexual harassment and things like that?
Yes, I do remember that.
Well, there's now the Ohio State women's hockey coach resigned a week or two ago, and an investigation came out of why he got ousted, including telling his players to get horny for the puck.
God.
One witness said the coach told her that he likes to see girls cry because it makes him feel powerful.
Isn't that the sign of a serial killer?
When one witness said she felt bad about sleeping a lot due to an injury, even though her boyfriend was in town, the coach replied, "Why don't you just give him a Victoria's Secret magazine, some lotion, and tell him to take care of it himself?"
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah, it makes me proud to be a Buckeye, folks.
The official report for this, the masthead, of course, reads, "The Ohio State University."
Absolutely. That's the official name of the school. I keep trying to tell you guys that. Nobody believes me.
I know it is. It's right here on the case report.
Right, exactly, yeah.
That details, another sexual harassment case by a head coach.
Right, yeah.
At Ohio State.
We've got a guy in the NFL that, he can spell, but he doesn't know grammar or punctuation very well. We've got this. Yeah, it's just like I said, Ohio State, I couldn't be prouder of my alma mater at this point.
And we're not here to play school.
Right, exactly. Hey, but that guy won a national championship. That makes it okay.
Okay.
He did his job.
So, I have a thing here from our friend Stephen A. Smith.
Oh, Stephen A. Smith is always a bastion of intelligent discourse.
We haven't talked about Stephen A. in a long time. Nice to see him making a comeback.
This isn't a sports take. It's not a hot sports take from Stephen.
It's going to be even better than I got to think.
Last Tuesday, he was speaking at an Impact Symposium at Vanderbilt.
An Impact, okay.
This was a discussion about race and things about that in America.
Oh, this is going to be good.
Yeah.
What I dream is that for one election, just one, every black person in America voted Republican.
He can't do nothing else.
From what I've read, Barry Goldwater is going against Lyndon B. Johnson. He's a Republican candidate. He is completely against the civil rights movement. Lyndon B. Johnson was in favor of it, civil rights legislation. What happens is he wins office, Barry Goldwater loses office, but if there was a Senate, a Republican Senate, that pushed the votes to the president's desk. The Democrats who were against civil rights legislation, the Southern Dixiecrats, so because Johnson was a Democrat, Black America assumed that the Democrats were for it.
So he's not wrong, and I mean, it's about race in this context, but in a general sense, I mean, you could really replace it with any one group that, when you have in politics, in a democracy, when you have one group that so overwhelmingly votes one way, the party that has those votes don't address their concerns because they take them for granted, and the other party ignores them because they figure they won't get their votes anyway. So then the group in question, be it a lobby or be it a special interest group or be it a racial demographic, they end up getting ignored by everyone.
Dare I
So
say
what we're
it?
saying is
That
Stephen A. Smith might have made a point.
I was just going to say, did he actually say something that made sense?
He did, but again, a broken clock is right twice a day, so let's not read too much into this.
All right. Have you guys seen this map that Mitchell and Ness put out?
No.
No, I haven't, but I want it. But I know what you're talking about, and I want to see it.
Yeah, let's see this.
All right. It's a map, and they've put what is the highest-selling throwback jersey that they make, not just in general.
Wait, let's not look, Mike. Let's see if we can guess.
Okay, throwback jerseys that Mitchell and Ness makes for every state in the union. And
Okay.
they made a map with the jerseys.
All right.
Let's start with the ones that are off the contiguous United States. The
free
highest-selling
states.
throwback jersey in Alaska is...
I'm gonna go.
It's hockey.
I was gonna say I'm gonna go with Gretzky.
Which Gretzky?
I'm gonna say Oilers Gretzky.
Mike?
Oilers Gretzky.
Los Angeles Kings Gretzky.
That figures.
Why would Alaskans root for the LA? Okay.
West
I don't
Coast. Edmonton's closer, but LA is in America, so I suppose there's that.
Well, Alaska's practically Canada.
I think so too, but try to tell them that.
I mean,
How
let's
about-
trade. We'll give you a 6-pack of Molson, and you'll give us Alaska.
No, because we like to take cruises up to Alaska in the summertime. Sorry, no deal.
How about the tropical island paradise of Hawaii? It is football.
Football, Hawaii. I'm gonna go with Joe Namath.
Joe Montana, 49ers.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Right team, Mike.
Okay.
Deion
Jim
Sanders.
Deion Sanders?
Deion Sanders, San Francisco 49ers, 1994.
Really?
I keep
Wonder why.
forgetting he was on that team.
That was back when he bounced around. He went
Sports.
Well, that too, but I remember he played for the Cowboys and won a Super Bowl, I think, or was it the other way around?
I always think
49ers
of him
versus
as-
the Cowboys.
I always think of him as a cowboy and a Redskin, but nothing else.
Well, see, I think of him
Now-
as a Falcon first, and then everything after that. Okay.
Gretzky, by the way, the Gretzky jersey, the only hockey jersey on this map.
Well, it makes sense that Alaska would.
Yeah.
The 49ers Hawaii Deion Sanders jersey is one of 3 Deion Sanders jerseys that are the leading jerseys in those states.
I got to think Georgia's the other one, right?
Georgia is one of them in the Falcons jersey.
And
Texas.
I'm going to go
not Texas.
Florida.
No, it's Oklahoma. With the
Oklahoma.
Cowboys version.
Oh, okay. All right.
And it's the one with the stars on the shoulders.
Okay. That was what, 94?
95.
Okay, 95.
95.
All right.
California football.
I'm going to go with Montana again.
Joe Montana. Correct.
Yeah.
He's not the leading jersey in Montana, sadly enough.
Aw.
The leading jersey in Montana is a Dallas Cowboy, though.
Roger Staubach.
Roger Staubach, correct.
All right. Look at me go. I usually don't do too well on these things. I'm on a hot streak here.
How about Washington? The state of Washington.
State of Washington? Give me the sport.
Football.
Football, I'm going to go with Steve Largent.
You are correct.
Look at me. Look at this.
Look at you. All right.
I just couldn't think of any Seattle Seahawks players prior to John Kitna.
See, that's the thing. This is where my love of all things throwback is coming back
All
to
right.
help me out here.
There is one player who has more names on here than any other. He is the leading jersey getter in Oregon, Nevada, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Ohio, and Tennessee. Basketball player.
Basketball player.
Jordan.
Jordan is not anywhere on this list.
Okay.
Really?
Throwback basketball
I don't
player.
know if they just don't make Jordan jerseys or something.
Okay,
it's also a relatively recent throwback.
Give me the states. LeBron James?
No. It's Oregon, Nevada, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Ohio, Tennessee. The only common thread here is the team used to play in one of these states.
Karl Malone, because the Jazz used to play in Vegas.
The team used to play in Minnesota.
Kobe
Okay,
Bryant.
so it's got to be the Lakers. Is it the Kobe Bryant Lakers jersey?
Kobe Bryant throwback.
Okay.
As soon as you said it, because it couldn't have been any of the older Lakers players. It had to be a newer one, so it was either Shaq or Kobe, so I took a 50-50.
Yeah.
You did mention Karl Malone. The Mountains Jazz jersey is the number one throwback in the state of Utah.
Of course it is.
Objectively, I hate that uniform, but I kind of love it. It's this weird thing where I rooted for the Jazz for 2 years in a row in the NBA Finals, so I can't hate that uniform.
Here are the obvious ones. The Karl Malone in Utah. John Elway in Colorado.
Which one? The orange?
The orange one.
Okay, yeah.
Pat Tillman in Arizona.
Oh, see, I didn't think that was that obvious. Okay.
No, that makes sense.
I mean, it makes sense, yeah, but that would have not been my first guess.
What would your guess have been?
For Arizona?
Yeah.
I probably would have gone with...
I can't think of anyone else.
I would have probably gone with a basketball player from the Suns. I just don't know who I would have picked. But that would have
Charles
been my-
Barkley.
Yeah, Barkley
maybe.
would have been a good guess, yeah.
Texas. Who do you think is the leader throwback in Texas? Obviously, it's a Dallas Cowboy.
I'm going to go with Staubach again.
Aikman.
Troy Aikman.
Okay.
Woo!
That's interesting.
What's Staubach done for him lately? Huh?
Number one jersey in Michigan.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Football.
Barry Sanders.
Barry Sanders.
Okay.
Woo!
Let's see.
Was this mostly football, I'm guessing?
No, there's a lot more basketball once you get to the East Coast.
Okay.
Any baseball?
Yeah, I don't does Mitchell, I
There's a
don't
few-
think they even do baseball, do they?
No, they
No,
do baseball.
there's
do
some
they?
baseballs.
Okay.
Like the state of Idaho.
Baseball?
Baseball.
Oh, wow.
Cubs? Someone on the Cubs, maybe?
I'm going to go with the Don Mattingly Yankees jersey.
Correct team, wrong player. 1951.
Mickey Mantle.
Mickey Mantle. Odd choice. Let's see. What was Wyoming? Wyoming was weird.
It was a Fennis Dimbo Wyoming Cowboys throwback.
No, it is also a New York. It is also a New York Yankee.
Wyoming?
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Roger Maris.
1932.
Oh, God, I have no idea.
No, that's not Babe Ruth. He was in the third. Yeah.
Lou Gehrig?
Lou Gehrig.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
New Mexico.
Oh, wow. It's baseball?
It is a baseball jersey.
Yankees again?
It is not a Yankee.
Cardinal?
It is not a Cardinal.
I have no idea.
It is a Chicago Cub.
Ernie Banks?
Ernie Banks.
Okay. Good choice.
The Cardinals only appear in two states,
Missouri.
Missouri and South Carolina. Their jersey
South Carolina.
is
Stan Musial? No.
number 1,
Ozzie Smith.
Ozzie Smith.
Okay.
So South Carolina is a colony of Cardinals Nation.
Supposedly,
yeah.
That's terrifying. They've reached
Now,
one of
Mike.
they've reached one of the coasts.
Mike,
Okay.
this will delight you.
Okay.
The Toronto Raptors
Woo!
have the leading jersey in 2 states.
No way.
It's Vince Carter.
Vince Carter, white throwback.
Okay, it's a solid choice.
In which 2 New England states?
I'm going to go New Hampshire and Vermont.
New Hampshire is one. The other,
Connecticut.
Connecticut.
Woohoo!
Is because Vince Carter was a Yukon Husky. Iowa has the same jersey winner as New Jersey.
Martin Brodeur. No. Okay.
No.
New Jersey, huh? What sport?
Football.
Joe Namath.
Joe Namath, correct. This jersey is the same in Mississippi, Rhode Island, and Massachusetts.
Wow. What sport?
Basketball.
Mississippi, Rhode Island. What was the other one?
Massachusetts.
Larry Bird.
Larry Bird.
Yeah. Okay.
Interesting.
Larry Bird in Mississippi.
Dude, he's white. There's no way they're going to put a black guy on. Come on. Forget it.
And our final state in Louisiana,
Drew Brees.
2006 New Orleans Saints.
Drew Brees.
Drew Brees.
No, you guys will never guess this one.
Okay.
Sam Mills.
He's the guy when the Saints played their first game in the Superdome after Hurricane Katrina. He's the guy who blocked the punt.
He's the guy that had ALS, too. I can't remember his name, but I know who you're talking about.
Steve Gleason.
Steve Gleason, yeah. Remember, they had a whole big thing about him. He got
the
They made a statue of that play.
Really?
Yes.
There's a statue of that play outside the Superdome.
Wow, some places take football a little too seriously.
It rebuilt the city.
Okay.
That was our very long march through the United States. Somebody on the internet. Winton tallied up how many people Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger have killed in each of their movies. Who has more on-screen kills?
It's got to be Schwarzenegger. It's got to be Schwarzenegger.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
It's got to be Schwarzenegger because Schwarzenegger was in a lot of movies where he was just gunning down nameless henchmen.
Yeah, I'm going to go with him, too, because I'm thinking about that movie, the one he was in with Tom Arnold. They must have killed like 8,000 people in that movie.
The final score, 539 to 509. Your winner, Sly Stallone.
Those Rambo films put him over the edge.
Yeah, I think in Rambo 2 he killed like a whole country, didn't he?
Well,
I think he pretty much killed all of Vietnam.
if you want to watch all 539 kills, here's a link to a 35-minute compilation of all of the kills.
You know what? I'm going to watch this when I have the time.
Kill count.
And the kills are also divided up by kills by gun, explosive, bow and arrow, bare hands, etc.
Well, yeah, I was going to say Stallone's got the only bow and arrow kill, I'm pretty sure. I don't remember Schwarzenegger ever using a bow.
Nah, Schwarzenegger wouldn't have used one.
Is that it?
I believe that is all.
All righty. Mike, when is the wrestling show happening again? We got one on Friday, and then again...
And then the other one's probably going to be on Tuesday or Wednesday.
And, of course, are we going to have a geek show in there anywhere, or are we going to skip that for a week?
Yes, we are going to have a geek show on Saturday as we talk about the fact that the X-Files was renewed 13 years after it was canceled.
Yeah, 6-episode miniseries.
Really?
Yeah.
With David Duchovny and
Gillian Anderson, yeah.
No kidding?
Gillian Anderson, yeah.
All right. Cool. It'll probably be terrible, but...
You know what? The cynic in me wants to say it's going to be terrible, but the X-Files fan in me just can't wait, and I'm excited.
You know what? That show, when it was good, it was great. I mean, it was an incredible show. But all right, cool. So we got a geek show coming up, 2 wrestling shows, and an episode dedicated entirely to the glorious tournament of victory. Then you can find out all about it by following us at Basically Sports on Twitter, or go to our website, basicallyasportshow.com. You can also subscribe to the show on iTunes and Stitcher, and check us out on YouTube and Spreaker as well. I think that's everything, right?
That should be everything.
And with that, we are going to call it a night. We will see you next time.
Bye-bye. Later.
Please hang up and try again.